Hello and welcome back to SVSU Esports. We are here with a new draft coming out. It is going to be SVSU versus, gosh, it was City
City
College,
College
New
of New
York.
York. Yeah.
Okay, sorry,
Specifically their junior varsity one team.
the double
So they're playing
C's
today.
got me. We're going to be seeing Syndra as the first pick. We're hopping in sort of in the middle of bands here. I am Puff and I'm joined today by
NB, hi.
one of the B team players. It'd be interesting to see what these team comps go. SVSU already banning out the Mel and the Victor. Actually, no, we just don't like AP today.
We really don't. It's funny they have banned the Asol. That is actually just a solo queue pick. He does not play that in actual matches, so it'll be very fun that they have wasted a ban on that.
We do see the target coming out here. It's gonna be SVSU Nums getting his support pick off. They got gypped by the dragon. He
They
didn't
did.
to him.
They got completely bamboozled by his 77 games on it in solo queue.
The SVSU League team, this is gonna be the first time we've seen them on stream so far into the semester. GLIAC and all the other things have just lined up perfectly to where this is just the first time they're making it up here. So we will be having some role swaps that you guys have not seen yet.
Yeah, going over from last season, it will be Tito moving over to jungle, Matt moving into top lane, and Cactus Cat Brian moving down to the mid lane.
Yep, he's back in his home, his original spot when he first came onto this team. After having, I think, like almost a year.
It's
on
been a
jungle.
good while, yeah.
The Varus does come out from New York. Are we doing City College?
City College, I think.
All right. I might end up doing CC just for the memes.
Maybe. Those are some pretty powerful, just first couple picks, safe characters, not necessarily just thinking about matchups, but really just Syndra, Varus, and there's the Cassante as well. Some very powerful first picks, safe scalers, they will do quite a lot. The Twitch is gonna come out, an SV Soul special.
Rat hours are here. We get to see him.
We are ready to see him hiding. Or I guess not see him in that case.
We're to find out he was hiding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his voice line's gonna tell us enough.
Mm-hmm. Remaining bans for them, they have jungle left to ban out. They could do jungle bans. They could also look at targeting supports. That's what they're going to end up doing. They're going to look at targeting out supports. They're going to shut down the Twitch Taric, I believe.
We already see the Nami getting banned. Don't really want to deal with that huge amount of CC on that ultimate that Leviathan goes for so far.
Yeah, Twitch wants to walk up there, and Nami's just going to be able to pat immediately down.
Waves, bubbles, all the way. We will be seeing the Gwen band from New York, trying to make sure that the Cassante just gets a little bit more free reign as Gwen snips a good bit away at the tank health bars. It's
On the
almost
other
like
side,
they're
they
meta
throw a
improvement.
Wukong ban in there as well, so that's clearly something they've seen their jungler playing and know that they don't want to deal with.
The scouting reports coming out from both teams, because League, sort of the same as Valorant, but we don't really have character bans in Valorant. You can go and just scout players before the game goes. You can go and check their stats on, I think, like League Tracker, mobile.
Yeah,
Links.
there's
so many
OPGG,
options.
there's about a dozen options. The Garen normally is played in top lane. I do believe this is a mid Garen, but I think it can be flexed between. Previously, Cactus Cat had said that he wanted to play the Garen mid, so we will see.
We will be spinning. We do see Zinzao coming out from the other side. That's not jungle, is it?
It is jungle.
Okay.
It's a jungler. There's been some use of it top lane, but we do see the Cassante, so it's
Yeah.
definitely jungle.
They come out of left field. Cassante is actually the support.
Oh god.
You
Oh god, no, please.
don't want to live in that world.
I don't want to live in that play. I play support now, but I mostly played ADC. I don't want to see a Cassante in my lane.
There will be a Seraphine coming out, so probably Syndra mid, Seraphine, Varus bot lane, and Zinzao vibing in the jungle. Cassante will never be seen until like the 15-minute mark.
So that Aurora, I do believe, means that Garen will be in mid lane. Like I said, the Aurora is going to be played by Matt in the top lane, I think.
Right. So we will not be getting into it just yet. Still going to be stuck on the draft for a bit longer as the teams actually situate themselves in round. We're going in. Who's ready to see the exact same thing we just saw?
The exact same thing, once again. Except this time in order.
We actually don't. Oh, there's blind picking. They finally skipped it.
They finally skipped it.
NECC used to have it where I believe they were still forced to do pick and ban, even if they'd already done the pick and ban in
Yeah.
Pro Draft. now the team's going just straight into a blind pick because they've already done their picks.
Yeah.
The Vans, they don't need to sit through the next like what minute and a half.
Yeah,
Again.
either they would immediately spam through all of them, or they'd have to just throw all of it through. Here, they can get it done nice and quick.
So it's gonna be really interesting to see. Actually, I've got the name backwards. See how these team comps end up working out on both sides. SVSU is gonna have a little bit more of the just surprise engage we need with the Twitch popping out of the bushes, and the sheer amount of stuns that Mummy can just carry.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a hard game for Twitch. He definitely can still get his regular value, but Varus can chuck ult, Seraphine can chuck ult. Quite a few of them can throw ults and try to shut him down immediately once he pops out. But
he'll have about a second and a half before
he'll have about a second and a half to kill absolutely everyone before he gets immediately charmed, rooted, and stunned.
the rat trap will go off.
It is preparing. The winch is winding back. I haven't actually seen Tarek before. I know he loves to play. I haven't actually seen it played before, especially not playing Twitch. It has a lot of sustainability to keep the Twitch alive during a laning phase, especially against the Varus Seraphine, which is such heavy pressure for those two characters to just spam abilities. Syndra into Garen is... I'm not sure how that matchup goes, to be honest. I know Brian knows the Syndra, I know he knows the Garen, I know Matt knows the Cassante, and I know he knows the Aurora, so overall I think they're pretty even, but...
I feel like it's gonna be like the whole who assumes that they can kill the other one, because we all know Garen is probably, well, we don't all know. Garen is one of the biggest baits in League of Legends for when that man is on low health. You see him spinning, you see him on like maybe if it's just like I can finish him off.
His
like,
his W doesn't look like it would do as much as it does, but it actually does an insane amount of damage reduction that it just shows these little shields spinning around him. You think you can kill him, and then he presses W, all your stuns and stuff do nothing, he takes no damage, and then he just QER and you're dead.
You can't walk into the top sometimes.
And then he runs away and regenerates all of his HP, and you just don't get a chance to even play on him.
He plays his own game regardless of where he is. It's just a question of how far from the enemy am I spinning this time.
This time, am I spinning in the middle of 5, or am I spinning on one person on a side lane?
The same thing goes for sort of the Syndra, because I believe the stun doesn't let him actually get the W off, so if he gets a little bit too overzealous, he ends up getting stunned by the Syndra and then just gets absolutely tapped because she has all of her orbs on lock.
Garen absolutely can get completely shut down. It's just a mind game between the Syndra and the Garen, as it is with the Twitch and the Aurora. Syndra, her E is on such a long cooldown for most of the game that if she's caught with it down, she can get dove 2 feet away from tower immediately at any level. So she really has to care about when she uses that, because if she uses that at the wrong time, like it feels almost like what this comp is set up to do. If she stuns Garen, if she stuns Twitch, the other one's able to go in.
It's probably just Garen top.
Yeah.
Where's the Aurora going other way?
It's the Aurora top is the thing.
Is it the Aurora top?
These are some flexible picks, but Aurora's most been played in the top lane nowadays. Garen has been seeing a lot of mid play because he likes to play into those burst mages like the Syndra.
Right in the game,
Saginaw Valley State Industry.
You know, we pulled back up the boundary. We got sitting in Pioneer Hall.
It really is. It's playing some very intense music that I quite appreciate in this slow load-in.
We do get to see some skins. Occasionally, we don't actually get to see the league skins, but it's always nice once we do, because it's just so much fun. There's so many skins in this game.
We've got some really fancy ones on our side, and then we have just the blind Garen mid. Garen just rocking his default pose, his default loadout.
But we do get to see the Dublin Darling Syndra.
It is such a good skin. I really want that skin. I've played a decent amount of Syndra, and it just looks so amazing. I want to be able to throw a dumpling at my opponent. I think really the key is just going to be Twitch and Tarek not getting run over. Nums is a player who likes to fight a lot and likes to take opportunities when they're presented to him, and Tarek can do that, and Tarek can also just keep him safe. So Twitch wants to scale, Twitch wants to get through the game. He's not going to be winning, I think, immediately off the bat against Varus Seraphine, so he'll want to scale, he'll want to play a little bit safer. It's gonna be getting out of laning phase for a lot of these characters. I think are just gonna need to get out of laning phase to really, really have effect.
Yeah, who's ready to exist for the first 10 to 15 minutes of this game?
I know I am.
Mhm. I feel like we're probably not going to see much happening top. It's top lane. You know, we're going
Yeah.
to see the normal. We might get an engage at the start. Someone might die. I love the 0% still on the loading screen.
Mhm.
Okay, it's a lie. Understood.
Yeah, top lane will be probably a pretty neutral meh matchup. It'll be late game that both of those characters get really, really scaled and are able to just one shot or survive a million things. But early game, unless someone steps up really hard, they shouldn't have too much in the ways of kill power on each other.
Just bonking each other with wet noodles.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Aurora's less than a wet noodle. She's definitely a bit of a strong noodle, but
when you've got Cassante health,
when you've got Cassante health pool and resistances, it gets soaked a little bit. I'm a big fan of the song playing right now.
turn that all down, 'cause this is. I should not be able to hear it this clearly. Because the headphones are vibing on the table.
Mhm.
But it looks like we are starting to actually get into the game as the Riot client sort of has
It's
a bit
taking
of an
its
issue.
time.
It's being the Riot client we all know and loathe. I can't
The
even
Riot
say
client
love.
that they keep saying they will redo and then never redoing.
Maybe one day, maybe one day.
Maybe one day we'll have it. They have taken steps toward it, though.
All right, we will be heading over to the intermission screen until we are actually in this game. We will catch y'all in a bit.
I'm gonna pause though, so that you don't need to go back. Yes.
Okay, we are getting into it right
If
now.
zero
If
stops being a thing,
whenever it might not be right now, but soon we will have gameplay.
they say there are. Gameplay will be happening at some point.
I really hope that the spectator
Oh,
quiet. Okay, a little wizard.
we are
We're in. We're good.
actually back. There we go.
Okay.
Some minor technical difficulties, but we are here. We are playing League of Legends.
Going to be SVSU on red side here, and then CCNY on blue. It'll be really interesting to see what goes down. This isn't no sad, no invade, just defaulting.
Yeah, it
Warden
looks like a
abortion,
standard
calling it
cover.
good. Maybe next game.
Maybe next time. Yeah, it's kind of hard for either of these comps to truly invade. Amumu could, but Twitch is a little shorter ranged. Aurora's a little shorter ranged. Nah, the other team doesn't really want to do it. They don't have the Syndra stun. They don't have a whole lot to follow up with. A lot of their characters need 2 or 3 abilities to really do anything. So it's just going to be a standard guard on the first set here.
Now we're going to be coming up. It's going to be really interesting to see which of the mid laners ends up getting, like, assuming either of them decide to roam, but which of them ends up getting prio and then starts to roam. Because I feel like either of them coming down to a lane is just going to turn the tide so much.
Yeah, we are going to see an early ward here in the Raptor pit of the blue side from our mid laner.
And then
They did spot it, though. So there'll be an equal one going on to the other side. Both teams should know about that. Brian should have called out that he was missing at the start there. So both Raptors will be known. Neither side is starting on them. Both junglers are starting just to clear up towards top lane. So we may very well get to see either a mid gank on level 3 if we're lucky, but don't know if that's going to be happening with how neutral these characters are. So we should just see a full clear in through top lane.
Right. I feel like the Amumu, honestly, I don't know enough about what Zinzao does in the jungle, but I know Amumu, whenever he comes down, he has a stun on his Q, he's got a stun on his R, he has an AoE on E and W. That man does not care what's happening in the team fight. Actually, we see SVSU getting the slightly early level 2 there, pushing up a bit, trying to look for a bit of chip damage, not really going to be able to find much off of it.
They're going to get a
there's a
little
stun.
stun.
A little bit of something.
That would do too much. They're a little worried. They don't want to get hit by a Seraphine double E or something like that that'll make them start taking a lot more damage. Varus, especially with Lethal Tempo, can get stacked up fast, and post level 2, he can start chunking in with WQ that will empower those arrows to really rip through Twitch's really low HP at base level. Shove used in mid lane, so now he has a little bit of time to play up a little further, but he doesn't want to get caught out in any regard. Syndra is just trying to stack an early game.
We might actually be able to see the Seraphine get a good chunk of damage onto it. No, SV Numb's respecting the space, not going to be able to not going to walk up to that bush, give her the chance.
There's a lot of fighting happening in top lane, but they have been fighting this entire time. You can see Casante's mana bar is all the way down, and still no one is really below more than about half HP.
Yeah, the general vibes. We are going to be seeing the junglers about to finish their clear. Looks like the Mumu is slightly ahead of pace, and we might be able to see the scuttle over the crab as both from our top side. However, the early level 4 coming out on Matt here, almost just
Almost got something. That is about what Casante wants. He wants to take that early, chunk down the mana bar of the mage, and then just get his TP off coming back in. It is a level advantage for the Amumu.
And we're going to be seeing the smite go out onto the crab as the top laner starts to walk down. Syndra is coming up to try and help the Amumu out. I believe both the junglers just don't really have that much damage early on. The flash over the wall. We are going to be seeing the Aurora continue to the chase. A nice dodge coming out though. And the Garen is going to be able to finish off that first blood for SVSU. I don't know what he used to gap close, but then just the
That is just flash and Q.
Alright. I literally blinked, so I did not.
Yeah, no, that is a case of both mid laners roaming, but Matt had such a better timer because of the teleport coming back in top lane that it became a 3v2, and at that point, they've got a bunch of vision on the top side, they've got a first blood, they've got that progress towards their feats of strength. That's a great early gameplay.
I missed the 3 wards going down during that fight.
Oh, yeah.
After that fight, I gotta be honest.
Yeah, they were trying to keep vision as people tried to sneak away through bushes, And it worked. It did its job. They should have seen Xin Zhao too, known that he's in topside still, that he's not trying to cheese anything else across the map. This should just be a double scuttle for SVSU. Tito's going to take that now. That's going to get him ahead real early.
And we're already seeing the Xin Zhao coming up onto the Aurora here top lane. Maybe looking for a gank. Not too sure if they got vision on it. Are going to be coming onto the Aurora now. As Tito comes in for a gank on bot lane. A huge Q going out onto the Seraphine. A second stun as well. That might be the end of it. There it is. Going to be able to secure that kill, as we do also see Matt going down on the top lane. But now Tito might be... I don't know if he's going to get burnt.
He's fine. There's no burn on that kit. So that Amumu will live and maintain his early advantage. It is unfortunate that Matt died in top lane, but he has the TP. He can just come right back in.
Varus actually going to be trading himself out for that attempted kill onto the Amumu there. It was so close. I mean, he had like less than 20
It was sub 50 for sure.
That would have honestly been a really nice kill as well, because the Amumu was starting to get ahead. Had both the scuttles on him. Had already had that altercation on top lane as well. And now we're just going to be seeing SVSU start to pull ahead a little bit in the early game. But also, 1k gold, not that much of a lead.
The other part that's really nice about this early game is going to be Twitch. Twitch getting, I believe, an assist in that fight. It's going to get him accelerated a little bit faster, keep him on pace with Varus in this early game. And especially what could have been a very losing matchup for him, not getting the trade back for the Varus, not letting Varus take too much out of that engagement, and just the flat death is going to help him a ton.
We're going to be seeing the grubs start to spawn. It looks like both junglers might be looking for first dragon here. Getting the vision for blue side on that top side. I can't speak on those grubs. And actually, the Xin Zhao is just going to be starting as SVSU starts to collapse. This is going to be putting him in a bit of a dangerous situation. Not even a bit.
He has no flash. That Xin Zhao is dead.
Out. Yeah. As the rest of New York starts to come over, and they're just going to be able to let this... I can't speak. They're going to let SVSU have this dragon because, like, they don't have a smite. What are they going to do?
Yeah, I don't know if they had vision or they didn't have vision. They were just looking for something. But that Xin Zhao did just E over the wall and immediately get collapsed on by all of them.
Probably just trying to like start it early, see if they can stake it out from under SVSU's noses. Because you know, like sometimes the teams are just looking around dragon. Maybe they don't have vision on it. They don't know that, and then you can just yoink it there.
Yeah, they had a little bit of bot prio that I think they were trying to. I think they overforced a little bit too hard. They said we have bot prio. We want our bot lane, who's in theory stronger in this early game, to come up. But by the time that he had even gotten his bot lane to come up, there are 4 members of SVSU just jumping right on top.
Does the Targ beam show on the Twitch or no?
I don't believe it does.
All right, so that is going to be the most horrifying stun combo that I can even think of. But the Seraphine answering right back to that Varus. Oh my gosh, that is so much health gone off of the target there. But also really nice engage coming out from SVSU.
Garen pincered just a little bit, but he's going to be fine to just run out, pop the Q, get all that move speed. He doesn't have to worry about mana. He doesn't have to worry about any of that stuff.
We're going to be seeing both the supports going down on bot lane as New York does secure all 3 grubs here. Tito going to be able to just back up, except the fact that they got that objective. Trading dragon for grubs, pretty fine. Pretty fine.
Yeah, they're going to sit at 1-1 on the feats of strength early, but that first one is already complete. So a first tower for SVSU will get them the upgraded boots.
Yep. The new feats of strength system now having changed from... actually, no, it's just the new Season 15 mechanic. We are going to have 3 different ones, and it's a battle for best 2 out of 3 for which team actually ends up getting just a little bit of an upgraded boots. We do see the Xin Zhao maybe looking for a little bit of a ward onto Krugs, or actually just checking to see if he can yoink some camps. If he waits around here, he might be actually able to yoink that red buff from Tito as he is down on bot side. Solo managing to get another kill onto the Varus. As Ben's actually roaming mid. Did that without his support.
Yeah, I think that's a case of Varus just getting a little bit overconfident, not tracking where the Twitch is, and suddenly he is no longer hiding, and you are dead.
Because the Seraphine was also coming back off of recall, so it was just one new one down there.
Yeah, he had a level advantage on him too, I think. I don't know if that level 7 came about from the fight, but that level advantage is going to be killer. Varus really needs to get a little bit of that early game, utilize the fact that he does the better early game damage, and so far he's not been able to do that.
The Aurora ult coming out, that's going to be so much movement and juking coming out from Matt on top lane. Going to be able to get out of that little bit of an awkward situation absolutely unscathed.
The kills are going onto other people, but this so far has just been a bit of a jungle diff, which
can be horrifying.
It feels awkward to say jungle diff right as I watch an Amumu whip a Q. But he does hit the second one.
You know, as SVSU is just going to be taking their advantage, finding another kill, and honestly, maybe even a tower off this, or at least a good chunk off.
They should get a good chunk. It's really tragic to see. This Xin Zhao is still level 5. He's just gotten beaten to every objective. Tito has done an amazing job of roaming around, finding things before the Xin Zhao can even respond.
And now we're going to be seeing responding to that yoink of the red buff with yoinking Possibly the entire top side. No, just taking the blue off.
He'll just take the blue and back out. Yeah, he wants to go get his respawns.
Wants to try and stay ahead on his tempo. Make sure that when he is roaming, nothing's actually up for the Xin Zhao to go and yoink from his side. And maybe he just assumed that Tito was going to take his entire top side because we do see him starting bot this time.
Yeah, he's wanting to find something here. You can get in this kind of mind state.
We might be seeing another engage going on. Gosh, that's such a dangerous combo because like you just have no idea where the second sun's coming from. You've got to take a guess, and they're pincering it every single time. Make sure they get at least one.
I'm not even confident that it doesn't show, but even if it does show,
that's just such a difficult thing
it's
to get away
so quick.
from.
And it moves with your target. So if it's a good enough angle and your ADC is just walking right alongside them, it's really hard to dodge that without a flash or a cleanse, which is what he ended up using there. It was a full cleanse.
Can we, the next time Twitch is invis with Dark on bot, can we try Fog of War red to see if it actually does show, or blue? It would be.
Yeah.
Because that won't show Twitch invis, right?
It shouldn't. No. Yeah.
Only
just next time we see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Until then, we don't worry about it. We are going to be seeing the Zins out here on bot side, trying to make sure they get some prio back. Pushing up so far, going to be getting a whole lot of vision in this jungle. And honestly, Twitch might be... Oh, never mind. That poor
sees him.
Xin Zhao is going to get caught by the Mumu as he's coming down for his rotation. Is going to be Tarek coming up to try and make sure he can't get out. And now we also have the Garen coming out from mid. We are going to be losing the Tarek in the process. Possibly trading it out. We're going to be seeing... No.
That is a great move speed. That's the Seraphine W keeping them all alive there.
Honestly, beautiful engage coming out from New York there. Going to be able to go and catch SVSU a little bit off guard, because even though we had the movement coming down, they just had so much burst and then ways to make sure the Zinzao got out that I was not ready for.
It could have been a little different maybe if the Taric E had hit the stun, but it did go a little bit to the side. They were able to dodge it whilst he was rooted in place, and that just meant he wasn't able to get anything off of it.
But now we're going to be seeing Garen almost getting a plate here, but he's going to be chunking so much health off of that for it, staying just a little bit too long against the Syndra. We are going to be seeing also a huge Q going out onto the Seraphine as Tito comes in to clean up the rest of the bot lane here. Double stun, double kill going to the Twitch, though, making sure his ADC gets those stacks, gets that gold.
I can just reiterate, this is a jungle gap in this early game. Xin Zhao has got bailed out a little bit by his Seraphine and the rest of his team there in that earlier engagement. He'll now go to try and get the grubs. They should just get all 6. They should trade out a drag as well.
So we are going to be seeing... Honestly, we don't get the tower off of this. But once again, that Seraphine is just sort of going to be sitting there looking at us.
And honestly, with the characters they have, I'm pretty okay, I think, with saying just give the grubs. Who's going to be utilizing them? Cassante maybe, but he's more of a team fighter. Syndra's a team fighter. They don't really have anyone that can really utilize grubs and try to push their side lanes, get the towers, get the split push as everything else is going on. Now, if we got them, Garen and Aurora, they can wreak havoc with them. But I think they're perfectly fine with giving them up for some dragons, keeping their advantage ahead.
The argument comes there is like they really just want to make sure SVSU does not get those 6 grubs, so they're just going to prioritize that over the early dragons because they... Maybe they know. Maybe they don't want to see that Garen walking down bot lane with, 6 grublets spawning later on.
I wouldn't.
Exactly.
I would hate that. I don't ever want to see a Garen with 6 grubs, no matter the situation, no matter how far ahead I am.
With a team, without a team, hitting your tower with no minions, who cares? Get it out of here.
While this was happening, by the way, Tito did just walk in and steal some raptors right out from under their nose. I think he had the support with him, but this Xin Zhao... I don't know what their CS is exactly, if I can see that, but I guarantee you that Tito is either ahead. Yeah, he's ahead by a little bit, but he's also just coming back from a back, so that ahead is going to turn into a good 10 probably ahead.
It's going to be possibly interesting to see how that progresses as the game goes on. We are back on the bot lane here. We might get our answer first of what happens with the Twitch. Ooh, but I don't actually know if they know that Xin Zhao is down here. SVSU is playing a good bit farther back because that's where the wave is. Are going to be pincering that Seraphine once again. And now Xin Zhao comes out from those bushes. It's going to be the Twitch going down. They did not know. Nice job waiting as well on New York's side. But now we're seeing Tito do sort of the same thing. Maybe waiting for the bot lane to get a little bit too comfortable push up as that Seraphine's still on really low health. But actually backing, it's just going to be the Varus here. It's going to be forcing them to stop the backs.
Yeah, they'll take their time a little bit, but that was just a case of Xin Zhao going all the way through with a lane gank. No one could see him, no vision was able to spot him coming in there, so they took what they knew was going to be a winning 2v2, and it was actually a losing 2v3.
The amount of patience, though, coming out from Xin Zhao, just like be waiting in the bush for his exact opportunity, and like the knowledge that it could also not turn into an engagement.
He could be wasting his time, but they banked on the fact that this Twitch is ahead, this Taric is ahead, they want to take the fights when they overstep. and knowing that if they do go for that, the Wind Becomes Lightning, the Xin ult, can blow people away, and all the burst immediately coming in all at once.
I think I hate
Oh, for sure.
Garen wave clear for I would like your wave gone.
He's behind on CS, but it really doesn't matter when you have the 3 kills on Garen. It's not about the number, it's about the fact that he can press E, press Stridebreaker, the whole thing is gone. He now can just do whatever the hell he wants for the rest of the game.
We're seeing SVSU having a solid amount of kill lead, but honestly, gold is still pretty close, not actually being able to make it anywhere past more like a little bit into the 1,000 mark.
Yeah, off 6 kills, you'd expect a little bit more, but it was a big shutdown onto Twitch, who had a very large bounty. So that's going to keep them a little more even.
Now we're seeing Garen possibly getting jumped into the mid tower. Is going to have to go and respect the Syndra and the Xin Zhao coming after him.
He has no cooldowns, but
yeah,
he's just got move speed.
He's not, bot lane's not coming up. They don't have the amount of speed to actually go and get to him. He moves too fast for the amount of armor this man has on.
It's really not fair, in my opinion. I think they need to nerf that champion.
He's very mobile for...
Or maybe just remove him from the game. I'd be okay with either, honestly.
You don't want the Beyblade here anymore?
You know, I liked Beyblades when I was a kid. I don't know if I want them in my League of Legends game.
It is going to be the Chemtech, I believe, because we just saw the upgraded plants.
Yeah, it's the Chemtech Soul. That's going to be pretty nice for... Honestly, it'll help out all of them as it does as any Soul will do. It's not the perfect one to get if you want to play off the Twitch, the Garen, all those things. I think a Cloud Soul would have been really good for them, but Chemtech, especially when you're 2 dragons ahead already, you'll take it at any point.
Chemtech's always fun.
Chemtech's always nice. It just makes your team better.
Seeing everyone just go flying from the upgraded blast plants and the amount of health you can get back from the honeydews we're going to be seeing, that's not fair name for him. Brian getting jumped here a little bit as that is our tower coming up in that Q coming out. So much health just gone.
We talked about
true damage, right?
Yeah, no, it's true damage, and it will kill you very quickly.
We're going to be seeing these Cassante come down, try and contest the Rift Herald. Another Q going out, just going to be forcing him. Does he shoot himself back over? No, he's gone. He's out.
He's
heading
out
back
of
to
there.
that top lane.
He's going to recall in the bush. He should be able to get out.
And now the gameplay of just taking guesses as to where they are. Gonna be guessing wrong. That Cassante, beautiful escape plan. Tried to go and contest the Herald, make sure SVSU didn't just get it entirely for free, as we are now seeing maybe it coming back to bite them a little bit as the Grubs are putting in so much tower damage.
Get this tower. I think they can just get this first tower.
And now Feats of Strength is going to come down to who can finish 3 objectives first. Both currently...
I think they might have...
Actually, no,
they got it because we just got that third objective, yeah.
That's why Cassante came down and contest like that.
Yeah, he was panicking a little bit. He knew that even if they got first tower, it wasn't going to be in time, but he just ended up giving his life for it.
Right, okay, Tito might not have the kills, but 1 in 7 with kill to assist is honestly super impressive going in.
In League, KDA matters more than KD, and the A is definitely coming through a lot for the Amumu. That's what the A in Amumu stands for. That's why there's 2 of them. All the assists.
We are going to be seeing another beautiful... These pins are coming out from Tarek. It's just so scary if you're on the other side, especially when there's a Garen coming out right after you, because, like, what are you going to do? Get away from the guy who can just spin faster than you can walk? And now Tito coming in with the Rift Herald. This is going to be a huge push going down onto mid. Cactus Cat moving a little bit further back because he knows he's at half health. He doesn't need to be on the front lines right now, but he can still walk in whenever he needs to.
He's got the ult already back up, too. If someone thinks that he's a weaker target... He's going to regenerate all of that HP. They're going to try and go in on the Tarek here. He might just end up giving up his life. We'll see if they can do anything after the fact.
The Amumu is going to be catching Zinda out a little bit here. Soul still managing to yoink the kill like the rat he is.
That's that collector for you. Gets so much gold into the hands of the carry.
And then now just taking that momentum and going to start Dragon, immediately going to be putting them 1 off of Soul, because once again, New York is not going to have a smite to try and contest this.
Yeah, that Zinjo is not as tanky as he might seem because of his stature. He seems like a bigger character, but especially with the way he's, I believe, building, if I saw that correctly, he's not going to have too much tankiness. It'll mostly be, yeah, the Merc Treads will help a little bit, but Eclipse gives you some shielding, but only if you can be in the middle of fights there. He just gets stunned, and all of his HP disappears in an instant from Twitch and Garen and Amumu and Aurora. They're just going to eliminate him off the bat.
So the vision score on the supports also coming out 40 over on SVSU. Meanwhile, 33 on the Seraphine. Both getting their roams and getting their wards down. Nice to see.
Ben prides himself on his vision score, so I'm glad to see that he's winning out on this one.
The grub man dashing for the tower, the little grublet.
They put in so much work. They try so hard, and then Aurora just cast a spell and they're gone.
Look, that tower is holding on by a thread. Actually, it might not be after the caster minion. Okay.
Oh, one hit remaining, I think, on that. A single breath could take down that tower.
Kasante is coming back. It looks like that is his goal. Spawn hit once. And now we see the swap coming out. Garen heading down to bot lane. Twitch and Tark moving over to mid because now it is coming to the point where that Twitch is the playmaker. We want him in the spot where he can just rotate to whatever lane he needs to be whenever he needs to.
Yeah, it's an aggressive move and a defensive move at the same time. It's just a smart move overall. You want him closer to the action. You want him to be able to rotate.
Taking the tower.
Yeah, there he is. They saw that Aurora had backed off. They were able to just run up there and smack it once with the Tonfas. But the Twitch moving into mid lane and any AD moving into mid lane is both an aggressive and a defensive move. You want him closer to the action, but you also want him somewhere where he can walk back to a tower if he needs to.
We're going to be seeing the Tark sort of get engaged onto the Zin's out here. Half health out. It's going to be so many abilities put onto him. And a huge arc coming out from the Amumu. Managing to get 3 is going to let SVSU send more and more people into this fight, but now the charms and the roots coming out as the damage is stacking up. We are going to see the Mumu drop as Soul manages to find one. Both junglers are now out of this fight. A second kill comes out from New York, making that a third onto the Varus, but now here comes Cactus Cat coming up from the bot lane to sort of clean it up. I think it ended up going even at the end of it.
It's
right?
gonna
There's so
be
many assists
it's
from
gonna
that.
be
Yeah.
it's gonna be a 2 for 3. It's gonna be a losing overall for SVSU.
That's right, because the Tarek ended up getting picked so early into that fight.
Yeah, the Tarek tried to use his ult to sustain himself down, and it kept him alive for a little bit. It made this little stalemate point with the Xin Zhao invulnerability and the Tarek invulnerability, but after it all came out, Varus had gotten lethal tempo stacked up, and all of the blight stacks coming onto everyone meant he just got to pop people like balloons.
And now we are going to be seeing possibly the tower gone from the side of SVSU, making that 2 towers on the board. Oh, 3. I missed one. On the board
Yeah,
for
that
New
was
York.
the-
All of outer tower turrets now gone. Or like furthest turret as the Garen. Ooh, huge shutdown coming out from Lixante.
Sante has the lower HP pools. He can get bursted, but a huge shove from Syndra is going to prevent that.
They're doing such. Oh my gosh, he's so.
He's so low. He's so close to death.
They're doing such a good job of making sure when their dive carries are going in the Zinzao, the Cassante, that they have their utilities and their ability ready to make sure they can still get out. They aren't using everything on the engages. They've got some things for the crackback from SVSU still.
I did just watch this Tarek sacrifice half of his HP for a single ward and then actually leave it on 1 hit.
You know, vision score, and now starts the Otacon battle. Take your pick right now. I'm saying we're going to be here for the next 2.5 minutes.
I think we'll be here for a good 3 or 4. It's going to be a while.
We're going to be seeing a little bit of an engage happening up here as the Twitch goes into rat mode. Zinzao is going to be claiming some space in that bush and then probably using the plant to get out. Yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to just get out. The thing about Otacon that makes it so tantalizing is whether it's Voracious or Ruinous. So right now we have Voracious. That revive buff, even after the nerf, is so huge. It'll take a while for them to get it down. I think they just have to contest this. If they give this up, it's so good of an angle for them to just take anything for free.
We are going to be seeing the Sword of Pincer coming out as the Mumu comes around from the side, but the Garen is getting jumped on so much, taking a guess in the queue in the bush, not going to be able to find anyone, and now the Mumu is going to be a little bit caught out, is going to get a huge stun on the team, but as the rest of them come in, there's just so much damage.
That
We will
Twitch is
see-
going to get popped. It's so unfortunate. They had a really good angle there. They had a good stun, but Garen chunked through all of that frontline damage. That
And-
should be Otacon for City College.
And now, as we were talking about gold leads a little bit earlier, remember I said 1,000 is not a lead. Meanwhile, 4,000, however,
That should be a lead.
New
I
York
think
has
so.
now claimed, and also bringing kills back. SVSU is, keep in mind, still absolutely in this because once again they're one-off soul. They've had the early game stacking, and the Twitch has so many kills going up. I have no idea what the builds are looking like though. If we could get a scoreboard real quick, 'cause I feel like that Cassante is also about to start looking real scary as soon as he gets this back off.
Yeah, we've hit a mid-game point where all of City College's characters are really hitting big power spikes. The Syndra especially getting up in her stacks. I don't know how many she exactly has, but she should be hitting quite a few right now to the point where she gets those massive buffs every 20 of her stacks. They're really at a great point right now. It's going to be how long can this go? Can Twitch get rescaled back up into the fight? 115, so she's not even quite at her strongest point. 5 more, and all of her abilities are going to get even stronger. A 20%, I believe it is, buff to all AP.
We are going to be seeing New York start this dragon early, and maybe that's part of the reason why we saw the Zinzao do it so early last time. SVSU knowing they don't need to contest this dragon, we can go and get soul at any point we need to. They're
Yeah,
going to be
only
backing
one more
off.
is needed.
They don't have control over the space. They don't have control over vision, and we are going to be seeing the Garen take a tower on top side though. answering back.
It'll be a nice sort of consolation prize. They have the tower down in mid lane. They don't have it down in bot, but the tower down in top lane does allow you for a lot of control around this Baron pit as
We
it
might
starts to
actually be
spawn.
seeing the Syndra get jumped. Maybe. Okay. I thought she was going to walk into the bush. We see the Garen literally just sharking that bush on top. And
Yeah,
is going to
Syndra.
be backing off now.
Brian here is looking to see if the mistake will be made of using the E on wave so that he can just jump on top with no threat of a stun coming through. But there's now 3 people around there. If he gets caught, no, he'll be able to suss it out and just walk away.
Yeah, probably hearing the calls from this team as we see the rest of New York start to invade into the SVSU's jungle here, just trying to claim as much space as they can. Maybe setting up for Baron, depending on if they can force an engagement here.
I think if they get one pick, it's really, there's so much damage on just a few characters. If you get one pick onto SVSU's comp, it's going to be really hard to contest anything. I think they might be starting that Baron. I can see Varus standing still.
Yep, and as we end up coming back,
There it is.
SVSU is going to start to dive. Baron is going to be removing a whole lot of resistances from the team
Mumu
that's
going
hitting it.
in.
The Mummy going to be risking his bandages and his body to get that stun off onto 3. And then once again, just so much damage as soon as he ends up entering. The Baron is going to be going to the blue team because they still have that smite online for when it comes down. But how many of them are actually going to make it out to save that? Oh, wait, they have the resurrection. They don't care.
They don't care. They don't need to worry about making it out. They don't need to worry about how many die. They should just be fine. I do believe that the Baron buff, I think it goes away if you die with the resurrection, but either way, they're not giving over any gold. They're not giving over anything else.
If we hop back over to the Seraphine, we will get to find out because she, I believe, is the only one that got resurrected, but we're going to have to wait until after the team fight.
Yeah, no, she keeps that Baron buff. That is incredible.
Horrifying. As we are going to be seeing the Aurora get caught out here, and Matt will also be going down the Twitch, getting out. He's a rat. It's what he does.
Yeah, I think for the most part here, it's going to be really hard to deal with just a long range CC. SVSU relies a lot more on full in the middle of them team fighting with the Garen and with the Mumu jumping in with his bandages. City College can play a lot safer. They can play a lot more pokey engaged, not really having to commit to anything, just throwing out Syndra shoves and throwing out Xin Zhao Ws and seeing whatever they can find,
And
waiting for oversteps.
At some point as well, during the last few engages we had, the Syndra is going to end up reaching her transcended state, so that is going to be a really concerning power spike once again, as the Varus ends up taking a second tower for CCNY. I don't know why I said that so slow. I just hadn't used the acronym and it threw me off. I had to do it at least once.
You do it at least once. CCNYJV1. It's their full team name.
Who needs full names? You know, we're obviously on a first 4-letter basis.
Oh, of course. We're old friends with those guys.
All of an hour and 13.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We are going to be seeing them come to try and contest a little bit more space top side, just sending the Cassante right in there, going to be able to go and get that ward. SVSU is going to be caught a little bit in their jungle, not having too much vision in space throughout the map. Are going to have that one ward all the way deep, super deep, actually, into New York's bot side jungle. But that's not going to give them much.
Yeah, it's really hard for Ben to do his job here of the vision control when you know that you can just get caught with one shove from Syndra and be immediately taken out. You don't even have time to ult.
It's also just like that point of the league where it's like you lost the last few engagements. You just have to accept we're sitting in base, we're clearing waves, or waiting until the Baron buff finishes off.
This is where you say, we win at 40.
Yep.
You say, we wait until real late game where any one fight can win anything, and we hope we win that fight.
We are going to be seeing the Cassante take advantage of the fact he can sort of just walk at the Aurora if he absolutely wants to, as long as he's not walking into that tower range.
Yeah, he's not even building too much in terms of MR. He just knows that the natural resistances Cassante gets and the backup from his team will allow him to play all the way through.
Go in with the Amumu, but that's going to be literally all of New York there as the rest of SVSU also comes in. And
it's a lot of damage.
Huge job. The Amumu does actually manage to get out. We are going to be seeing 2 kills from both sides here. Make that the Twitch finding a third on the Varus, and
Twitch can look for more. The rat mode is re-engaged.
He's going to be on the back. Oh my God,
one shot.
It was health pool. Just going to be taken out there now, just 2 versus 2, as we did see the Mumu have to back. Honestly, probably a pretty good engage that SVSU could have hoped for there, but we saw so much. I actually don't think we got bounties out.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 for 3. What is it, 3 for 3 here? Yeah, 3 for 3.
Because Tito just barely making it out on, like, I think a 6 of this health pool, if that. He's going to get the recall.
Not even. I mean, they'll feel good, but they would have felt a lot better if Twitch was able to live there. I don't think it was the wrong decision, though, to go for those more kills. He just barely was able to not quite have enough spacing to avoid the Cassante W that does so much damage to that low HP pool.
I thought that because I thought he was like fine
I
even if he
thought so,
got jumped.
too.
I thought half of his health bar. That's reasonable.
It's a
That's
reasonable
enough
amount.
health to live getting jumped by someone who's level 16. Apparently not. I did also forget to take into account like the 2-level gap.
Yeah, it's a huge deal when you're sharing the XP, so your stats are just not going
And
to
now
be
we're going to
quite
be
as
seeing
good.
our Tart get jumped again. Once again, those bushes doing such
He has no
work.
ults.
It looks like he's fine. No,
That's the
Syndra
Syndra
coming out.
ulti execute.
But that is
A
going
lot
to
of
be coming out. A
damage.
huge damage coming back in as the Mumu goes in. Is going to trade himself for the Seraphine. But honestly, we have the Garen. We can also try and execute something. Going to be getting it on the Cassante.
I
Correct?
think it's
Yeah.
too much damage over the course of a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Zinzhou will flash. It's still just consolation prizes at this point.
We're going to be seeing the stun come out onto the Aurora. And honestly, the Syndra might be able to pick up a final kill here.
She doesn't have her ult.
It's going to be close. Matt is going to be winning that 1v1. The rest of New York is going to be going to start the Dragon. The Varus going to be finishing it off.
Syndra gets a little overzealous there. He doesn't quite hit her stun properly. She doesn't have her ult to finish it off to guarantee the kill.
The Zinzao was like hanging around the area, but he was in between going for Dragon, going to help for the fight, so he didn't actually manage to make it back.
I think Syndra is so strong though that she's just saying, "I'm fine. I can take down an Aurora. I can take down a 2-2 Aurora. I'm fine." And then just barely doesn't hit the abilities. Matt spaces it pretty well.
Now total gold going to be out here is we see 8k. Well, okay, 7.5, but like close enough. Who wants to do math right now?
I definitely don't. We'll just call it 8.
And then also New York having gained back the kill lead, and by gained back, and gained it for the first time. But the Zinzao doing a huge great escape, going to be making it out in a nick of time just before that stun comes out from the Tark.
Yeah, and this is where it gets so much harder for Amumu to play the game. He wants to get his Qs, he wants to get his engages, and we saw in that last fight he can do a ton of damage, especially with the the Abyssal Mask. He has so much damage that he can do, but if his team isn't able to follow up on it, it's going to be really hard for him to get too much value here.
Okay, SVSU's Wi-Fi is just dying for a bit. It's fine. It happens.
It happens.
We are going to be seeing, and all of our pixelated slideshow glory as Baron starts to spawn back up top. New York is going to be setting back up for it, maybe trying to end the game off this push. We're going to find out. Or off this like whole interaction, depending on how the
if they get a
goes.
big clear here, it could be real hard for SVSU to hold on.
At the very least an inhib, assuming they lose this. But however, if SVSU ends up actually flipping this Baron fight, getting the win, I feel like that's all of their outer turrets just gone.
Oh, absolutely. If they play it correctly, that'll be so much gone for them.
Early engage going on to the Cassante as we see the rest of them start to come back in. It's going to be so hard to actually tell what's going on right now. The huge charm coming out, going to be pulling the 3 of SVSU back, and now it's 5 versus 3 here on top lane. SVSU starting that engagement a little bit early, and now it's just going to be the Twitch and the Aurora trying to pick up any kill that they can. Zinzao literally just walking up to the rat. He knows that worst case, if he dies, the rest of his team can finish it off, and just trying to make sure as many of SVSU are going to be down for this Baron fight. The Aurora desperately going to be able to cling on to life, make it out of there. So we still have like some hope for contesting.
Yeah, that's been really their game plan, City College's game plan at this point, is sending the Zinzhou. Now that he's gotten a couple more items, especially that Death Stance, he really doesn't have to worry about Twitch bursting him down right off the bat. He can run straight into him and try to take him down off the bat.
We're going to be seeing just the entire team use so many stuns, so many dashes to engage onto that Aurora there. It's now just going to be Tito and Ben up in 5 and 7 respectively.
They might be able to hold. There's not too much wave, but there's another one coming through. That's so much damage coming
His
through.
health pool is just gone almost with the Cassante just eating tower shots left and right. And the Grubs also putting a whole lot of work on that turret. SVSU is now back. Wave clears coming out. They should be fine.
The Baron's probably going to be what they're looking for. Zinzhao's coming back off respawn right now. They'll hold on for now, but there's so much vision, there's so much control. The jungle's going to get cleared out, so Amuba's not going to be able to farm too much. It's definitely on the back foot here for SVSU.
Look, we never count anyone out yet because
Oh,
it's a
absolutely
league.
not.
The most unfortunate thing could happen to anyone literally at any point in time.
The thing about especially late game when we say playing to 40 is one player making a huge mistake can just throw a game. And that goes for both sides. Tarek can engage too early, Zinzhou can engage too early.
We're going to be seeing the Baron come out mostly uncontested as SVSU is, sort of we're forced to wave clear, we're forced to play back. And it looks like we are setting up for the defense. So we see a lot of us starting to recall around the map besides the people who need to be out there. The jungle finally going and getting his camps.
It's actually slightly unfortunate they don't have more progress on SVSU's base, because if they had some more of those inhibitors down, yeah, they'd be more vulnerable, but Twitch and Garen and all these heavy damage carries would be able to just farm so much more gold off the super minions and the empowered waves. And now just with Baron and not with those heavy amounts of supers, it's going to be kind of hard for them to clear out the wave too hard. They have good wave clear, but they need to risk their bodies to get to the wave clear with the Garen.
Seraphine is actually maybe about to go and find out. Unfortunate, but also really nice ward in that bush.
It was a nice
to try
attempt.
And call out just in case there was anyone there from New York.
Yeah, it's a good precautionary ward there from the Seraphine.
As SV Numbster goes to rejoin the team. Honestly, that would have been such a concerning target stun just coming from the back, as well as like someone would have been engaging up the front.
If they try to go in too far there, they can try to wrap around the side. It's going to be really hard for them to play too much. They just have to play tower defense at this point. They know their jungle's down. Amumu's not going to be able to farm too much. Luckily, he's already at enough of his power spikes. It's not going to hurt as much as it might have if it was a little earlier in the game, but it's never going to feel good to get all of your jungle taken away.
Yeah, he'll just most likely be dying a little bit earlier in the fights there. Xin Zhao is now 2 full levels above the Amumu. I know we were saying jungle diff a little bit earlier, but it seems like it has...
Might have flipped a little bit back.
Look, it's the whole fact that like they've been team fighting, and Amumu at this point is literally a stun bot.
Yeah, he's just a stun bot. He does decent damage, but you can see him building the Jack shows as well. He knows that he needs to be able to survive in these fights a little
We're
longer.
just full walking. It looks like we've reached the death ball part of the game. Full walking down, trying to take that mid tower, making sure they can't contest us because they were already on the dragon. And now
you
here's
want
the
to look for
engage
this
coming
fight.
out. Oh, so many roots, so many charms, so many CC from both sides.
There's some great damage bursting down the Seraphine immediately. Zanyo's coming through, should save this guy for a little bit longer.
And now we're going to be seeing 3 kills from SVSU. It is just the Cassante left jumping our Twitch and our... Okay, I thought he was going to use the plant to try and launch himself after the rat for a second. Twitch is going to be able to make it out of there. Tark does go down. SVSU, however, managing to get 4 kills, only losing 2
That was a great
to that.
call, yeah. I don't know who calls that exactly, but whoever did, good on you, because that was a great call to just run straight through. They get a tower, they get the objective bounty from the tower, and they do get the kills.
They also end up clearing off so much of the Baron buff, only Cassante being the one as left.
Yeah, if they had just lost a few more there and it had gone even, or even if it had gone negative, that's an angle for an end. They only have the one Nexus tower up right now. It won't take long for them to get through. But they execute the play well. They get the Taric ult off in time to save people from just being one-shot by people like Syndra. And it goes pretty well, all things considered. 4 for 1.
It is SVSU starting to pull it back. The gold difference was starting to hit 11k, didn't say anything. But now it's only a 9.
Yeah, every one of the
8.5
plays gets
soon.
them a little bit closer. Twitch has just got his I do see the, not the Yuntels, the Runon's Hurricane. Not Yuntels. Josh would be yelling at him if he had built Yuntels.
The support vision battle real quick, actually. 102 to 109, Seraphine catching up.
It's close. I think Ben, it's honestly, I think for me though, that just means Ben is winning it because they've been on the back foot for so long now. Ben's still managing to really keep up with him and be ahead of the Seraphine, who has his stronger team behind him. That's really impressive.
I think it's also the thing of like SVSU had the lead early game, so it's just starting to balance out.
Yeah, it'll balance out a little better here with the amount of pressure they have.
It looks like we might actually be seeing a little bit of a team fight engage starting to... New York's definitely looking for it.
They're
SVSU
looking
probably
for
does
it.
not want to walk into it just yet because, you know, we're a little bit split. It is just going to be the Garen and the Moo up top. They're going to see them in that bush. Okay, the plant's going to be making sure that engage does not happen right now.
Yeah, they're trying to kind of joust over this control of top lane jungle. SVSU wants their jungle. They want their Mumu to be able to play, to be able to farm a little better, but you're not really able to contest, especially with the level spikes that they're hitting.
We're going to be seeing the Taric start to get a little bit caught out on the Xin Zhao here, but however, 3 from SVSU coming around the other side is going to be more than enough to force him to back off, almost baiting him in.
Yeah, it's just going to be the Taric ult, guaranteeing everyone gets out alive.
As we see the rest of New York start to push a little bit further up, trying to maybe catch out whoever's going to be stuck on that. Oh, it's Twitch. Never mind. He's fine. They don't know he's there.
They have no clue.
That
the
makes
rat
me
is
think
nearby.
as well that the beam definitely does not show.
I think so,
Otherwise,
yeah.
they would have made a beeline for him. They're going to start bonking the inhibitor, make sure they try and keep their advantage up. The Cassante is going to get a little bit separated from the team, but actually speaking of separated, Syndra being forced to put Zanya's all the way up top as 3 from SVSU start to dive on. Peter Griffin is going to find one onto Matt. Tito finds one onto the Syndra. The Twitch and the Taric fighting for their lives against it. Where does health come from? Seraphine?
No, that's not Seraphine. You
That's
know
just
if that was
him?
Seraphine. That's just a lifesteal, I think.
All right.
That's just Cassante being Cassante.
I was invested in the fight.
I
in
was
the
so
battle.
excited for the collector maybe going off, and yeah, now he gets the Seraphine healing. He's even
And
stronger.
it could have went both ways because, like, the Cassandra we already saw could one-shot anyone, and then suddenly all of his suspense is gone because his health is just randomly back. I know there's probably a reason, but still,
They
as
need
we're
to get this
seeing
wave cleared out.
4 from New York, just against 3 from SVSU, trying their best to hold it onto their towers
They've
here,
got
but
to
now,
force something before their Nexus just dies.
yeah, no, they're just gonna be able to hit through
And
it.
it's going to be
Literally,
too late.
not enough damage from SVSU, so much tank. It is coming out, and just taking advantage of the fact they have the level advantage going in there, they can literally just sort of ignore the damage coming out from SVSU and just keep hitting the turret.
Yeah, after that slightly misplayed fight, it did feel like they said, we just need to force it. We just need to run it forward. We need to know that we have those advantages. We can win these fights if we just coordinate our abilities properly.
Are going to be looking at the damage charts, the graphs, the stats here for all of you guys that like the numbers. That's so much damage, Dilton.
As a person who has played a lot of Twitch myself, Twitch is real hard to play here. It's definitely the correct pick. He's really good at it, but we saw so many times there the Cassante just throwing himself at Twitch and Twitch not being able to do too much about it.
Very nice showing from both teams, as well as SVSU getting the lead early game, playing super well, taking advantage of just how much stun CC the move was able to pull out from all those fights there. But then we saw New York able to play it slow, wait for their turn, wait for their chance to actually go and play the game, get their gold, get their space, and then once they had that lead, they did not let go of it. Even after they ended up losing that one team fight in mid, they came back just as strong as ever. So it looks like we might just be going straight in a game 2.
Yeah, they're going to look for they're obviously going to have to do their draft forwards. I'm going to be interested to see what they ban, because obviously we had some very clear ideas of what we were banning in terms of I believe it was the Mel, the Victor, a couple AP mid laners especially banned out, but seeing that Cassante absolutely run amok through here, it was something that really I think they could look to target in the next phase, or they could just stick to their guns and say, we know what we want. We know that mid laner can't get ahead.
I wonder if we might also see SVSU try and, depending on if we have like blue side or red side, pick the Cassante ourselves and try and cut it out that way.
It'd be very good to see. Matt's wonderful on that character.
But that's the whole question of like, they play Cassante, they will know how the character goes. But, you know, that's just the chance you gotta take sometimes in League. This is the wrong pro draft. Sorry. They are heading straight into it. League players, I don't know. I'm surprised they aren't taking a break. Actually, are they?
I think they might be.
There seems to be nothing on Pro Draft. We're going to head to intermission until we actually have word from what's going on. So, thank you guys for sticking with us for Game 1. We'll be right back with more League.
Yeah, I'd
Right, we are back with the draft. One of these times we'll get the start of it, I swear.
Yeah, we're jumping right about again about where we were last time. They are gonna still throw in the Asol, the Gragas. It looks like it's just gonna be the same bans as last time. No Syndra ban, despite how good she was last time. They're targeting some other picks for the mid laner.
We're going to be seeing what SVSU's first pick is, though, because now we are on the blue side, and we will be taking the Syndra, giving it a Cactus Cat most likely.
It's just a strong character overall. Brian knows what he's doing on it real well. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a mid later on. They don't want to let it get to the second phase and then have it be banned out, have the matchups banned out, especially with the 3 early bans for mid lane. We'll see what they prioritize here in their 1-2 here. 3 seconds remaining.
They're also just going to...
Could be a pro draft issue as well. The tool's a little buggy. There's a set.
Does that get played mid lane?
It gets played in top mostly.
Like, that's what I thought, because just because tank.
Yeah, it could also have just been a draft tool issue. Pro draft can be a bit buggy sometimes with how long it took there.
If we end up seeing a different character in game, we will know.
Yeah, we'll see.
But now their next pick coming out.
3.
Maybe. Okay, yeah, no. Talia.
Talia's fine. I think I don't know. I don't know what the guy plays, obviously. Talia probably is just going to be comfort for him because you could have looked a little more to hard counters, but there's already 3 good characters into Syndra completely banned away. So it's probably down to who do you feel comfortable playing into Syndra.
And there's going to be the Cassandra pick from SVSU. Actually, where's Yoink parts there?
Can we just yoink their whole draft last time? Boris felt great. I know Ben plays Seraphine sometimes. We could just take it all. Pick Xinjiao here. We'll be fine.
It is going to be interesting to see what he can end up doing.
Tito doesn't play Xinjiao, unfortunately, if I remember correctly.
No, Madeline Cassante going on top. We do see the Braum, so that's going to be Ben on the support. What are the chances Syndra bot, actually?
No.
No.
Aiden doesn't play it. I play it. Aiden doesn't play it. It's still played in solo queue, but it's a little harder to make work competitively. And most of all, I just don't think Aiden plays it very much.
All right.
If it was me, there would be a very real chance. I play that all the time.
Could be seeing what New York's final pick coming out is. It's gonna be the Lulu. Oh, that's. You know what? Rip. Good luck. Y'all have fun. Don't get turned into sheep.
I hate Lulu so much. Don't get turned into a frog. Don't get turned into a sheep. Don't get turned into anything. Whatever they want. Whatever skin they use.
It's such a fun game, you know, playing against Lulu and bot lane and support.
I've recently switched roles to support. No one can make me play Lulu. It's not gonna happen.
You don't want to be on the. You don't want to be on
I'm
that
not
side
a support player. I'm a support player. I'm not a Lulu player.
Think about it. Think about it. You get to be the thorn in their side.
Lucian ban is interesting. I mean, personally, I haven't seen Aiden's Lucian. Maybe it's cracked. Maybe he's played it a bunch in solo queue recently. But Lucian Braum, that's not what I would initially expect. If I see a Braum, I'm not gonna immediately think that's gonna be a Lucian. That's gonna be someone I'm concerned about.
We're gonna be seeing the Ashe ban come out. Her main utility is just like she can poke from afar and then she slows.
Yeah, early game she's gonna be annoying, and then late game she's gonna say, "Now that I've been annoying, you can get run down by my entire team. I'm gonna double you. I'm gonna auto you. All of my abilities all slow you like crazy. My ult roots you and is on like a 30-second cooldown."
Actually, yeah, that plus the Lulu would have just been so much lockdown coming out of that bot lane late game.
There's the Xinjiao, so we won't see an exact copy even with a Braum.
Yeah,
Varus
ban
ban
from SVSU.
Who are they gonna pick? I wouldn't be surprised if it's an AD here, but it is pretty pinched down, so it could very well be a jungle. Talia is also technically a flex into the jungle. It could be a jungle pick. We haven't seen a jungle anywhere else. It's not played as commonly nowadays, but it definitely is an option they could use, especially if they want to try and surprise them with something a little later on with mid lane.
This is another pro draft moment. We are going to be seeing
Is it a Mumu?
the
Okay.
Yoink back taking the mummy after SVSU took the Syndra with Asante.
So as long as that's not a pro draft issue, I believe that will be then a Talia mid, the Amumu going into jungle. It's going to be interesting to see that matchup. Syndra should have decent time early game, which is normally where she struggles, but Talia's damage numbers are so low in that early game that it should be a pretty even matchup.
It's got the same vibes if
They kind of
Oh,
just throw
bear.
things at each other.
we got a bear.
That, I believe,
Tina
yep,
want
that
a
is a
bear.
bear jungle.
It's been so long since we've actually gotten to see the volley bear on the side of SVSU because it was all the way back when we still had, I believe it was the Frenchiest Fry. No, he ended on Vanilla Gorilla. Was his tag literally like 2.5 years ago in the program. But we're gonna
Volley's
see-
so fun to see,
Mhm.
and especially into an Amumu. Amumu wants to go in, hit big damage, burst people. There's the Vayne, the character he has been spamming in solo queue recently to get it learned, to get it ready. We'll see what the answer is. They have that AD open. Who do they want into Vayne? You can't play someone like a Caitlyn, I don't think. It's not amazing synergy, even though it does outrange. You're trying to think for both synergy with Lulu and the rest of the team, and also who's going to feel good into Vayne. Is a Kog'Maw. That is a
The
character
little
I haven't
guy?
seen in a while.
The little dude. He's got some acid reflux, but you know it's fine. We love him.
We love him anyways. Kog'Maw is a character I went from hating to loving
Get it-
over time.
Get him some tums, he'll be fine. Actually, I feel like that would defeat his entire.
Yeah, I think it's his
personality.
entire kit to have acid reflux,
Look,
unfortunately.
actually, we found out the true counter to Kog'Maw. Get him some over-the-counter prescription.
Just get him a single pill and he'll be fine.
Some fast-acting relief.
These are some characters I haven't seen in a while. These are some characters that aren't quite as played in pro play. We've got a set here, and that was a set blind pick too. So they chose to play Cassante into the set. They said, this is a matchup we want.
I mean, honestly, he's got the second smaller health pool. What are the chances we see him swap into that in response to... Imagine he swaps tiny mode in response to getting set ultimate.
Oh gosh. You know, it's going to be interesting. There's quite a few characters for set to throw into the back line.
We got the
Set's
bear, we
ultimate,
got the Braum, we got
it
Cassandre.
scales off of that health pool. So Volibear a little less, but Braum and Cassante especially are going to be big beefy targets. They're looking to kind of subvert the front to back that you normally see with a comp like this. They're going to say, Vayne, we don't care if you're sitting there, we don't care if you're looking for flank, we don't care if Syndra's behind you, we're going to throw your own teammates into you.
Look, honestly, any of those three frontliners getting chucked onto the back line is just going to be so much of their health pool gone, as well as the stun coming up afterwards. That can just sort of say,
Goodbye. Vayne is not a tank. That is for sure. They've got plenty of beefiness in other areas. The Vayne and the Syndra, they can get popped. I used it earlier. I said get popped like balloons. Vayne is definitely a balloon in this case. She's a real sharp balloon, though. She will definitely hurt you if you go a little bit too close to her.
are most likely going to be getting ready to get into gameplay here. Once they end up getting that blind pick going up, we are going to be seeing the stream swap over, and we're gone.
There we go. And once again, we thank for being able to just go into a blind pick. We don't have to sit here and wait for absolutely everything now.
It's great. And now, as we're sitting here waiting for that 2-minute spectator delay, oh, we don't get to see. No, it did the thing where it loaded in. We don't get to see the champions, so it's fine. We already vaguely remember them from the pro draft. Honestly, here's what's going to happen. Never mind, pro draft's gone. That's right.
I remember
can't
for the
even do
most
team
part.
comps.
We're going to see Kog'Maw Lulu bot lane.
Mhm.
So if we're talking about SVSU's comp here, they have a lot more prototypical of a what would be a pro play comp. The Vayne is the wild card thrown in there. Vayne is something that Aiden's been absolutely spamming recently. I've played against it. It's very, I think it's pretty good nowadays for him. I think he's done a great job of getting it to be a point where he can competitively play it. But it's going to be I think is not his first test, but it's definitely going to be a test for this Vayne that he's picked up so recently in regards to, I mean, he's been playing League how many years now? Vayne is something that he's been playing for probably a month. It's also real hard. Lulu is, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Lulu plays into these characters.
Lulu plays her own game. Lulu's not here to actually care about what's
Lulu's
happening
here to
in the game
have
of League of
fun.
Legends. Lulu's here to watch some cute animals run around, and then her team just jumps them afterwards.
As she says in her voice line,
Well,
I recommend skipping. And in this case, I recommend skipping out on ever playing against Lulu because, gosh, I hate that character.
it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, that's true. Amumu, Set, they're both wanting to go forward really quick here. The push away, what we talked about last time with the Syndra on the other team, the non-committal CC, the CC that you don't have to follow up on. It's not like a Maokai W where you have to throw yourself into them. They can really just control the flow of the fight. They can look to just take whatever fight they want on their own terms. Spectator delay should be getting close to being done here. We should be able to walk in and see how this early game's gonna go.
We are once we are past the Wumpus.
The Wumpus is such a sad character. You know, he was originally designed as a character with no friends.
He still has no friends to this day.
To this day. That's why you have to give him friends.
We are okay. You know, Kog'Maw skin. It's going for it. Look at the little guy.
His eyes, they're just so pure. He's another one on the top of his head, too. 3 absolutely just glass balls of eyes staring back at you.
There's not a single thought behind those.
There's 0. There's a single brain cell and it's plinking around in his head.
Is there? I feel like it's been replaced by his stomach.
I think so. I think his maw has taken over too much.
The acid accidentally got up there as well.
Oh, gosh. Oh, that's so gross.
But we are going to be seeing a living Shadow Volley Bear as well.
It's a great skin. I love when characters that are animals get turned into other animals for their skins. It makes it feel so much better.
It always reminds me of the one TFT set whenever I stop and think about it, because he was such a hard tank to kill on the front line with that Ink Shadow comp. But you know, it's fine. It's fun to see the league counterparts as well.
I'm so bad at TFT. I've tried.
Maybe you're going to be getting into it. We see the Riot client starting to have a little bit of a moment. Of our black bars is we're still vibing, still waiting. I did not realize that he got a little Poro as Rudolph for Santa Brom.
Brom skins are so good overall. I think they do some wonderful things. Santa Brom also, the passive stacks are a little reindeer that gets filled in as it goes along. He's got some amazing skins where he gets to throw in he throws chairs in one of his skins. He throws bags of money.
Seems like you need a little bit of charity money bag.
Well, it's money that he's just robbed from a bank, so I think he's a bit of a Robin Hood in that regard.
Or just handing off the evidence to try and, convict someone else.
I think that's what it would be more like, because it is called Crime City Brom. I don't know how much of that is pure intentions and how much of it is crime, to say the least.
We'll make it in at some point. Whenever League decides to let us make it through its true barrier of the loading screen. The barrier to entry of playing League is not the tutorial.
We are finally in. We have made it a little further in. We're about 2 minutes in here. Some health starting to be lost here. Unfortunately, Riot was coded in the coding language of spaghetti, so...
But now, maybe going to be seeing the... Yes. Oh, actually, no. Exact same time, level 2 coming out from both sides.
Yeah, the level 2 spike, both supports are just going to be so aware of it that it's really hard to play off of it. At this level especially, you want to go and take your level 2 spike and look for something creative and interesting, but both supports think about it so much, it's hard to do too much with it.
I saw a little bit first game, but both teams ended up honestly taking some damage, just like spread out from where they were. And now it's going to be interesting to see, because the Talia looks like she just has so much, like, wide space control with her abilities. We saw I don't know what she does. We saw the rock wave come out. I think it's a slow, right? Is the big wave like Pebbles a slow?
Yeah, the wave is a slow, and if he was playing into if Thaleo was playing into a character that had a dash, it would be a bit more effective. I think that's why they took it for later game for characters like Cassante, like Vayne. But
actually, a bit of a challenge coming out here. We are going to be seeing SP Tito just yoinking the Gromp bot side is going to be getting the little bit of an engage off as that Lulu getting caught out after it. Going to be having to burn the flash after trying to save their jungle's camps. But the
It's
Mumu
funny.
is just going to be going and taking Tito's top side. So engage coming out, sorry, invade coming out from both sides.
Yeah, it's funny. I for a second I forgot that we were on the opposite side, and I was like, "What is that volley bear doing walking through there?" He's on vision. I don't know if he knows, but it should be about even. Unfortunately, they are not going to commit too hard, so that Merkwolf camp on the red side is going to stay up. Volley bear not wanting to overcommit too hard. He wants to get out, get his scuttle crab, try and play it a little more even.
The Mumu is going to be just like a tiny bit ahead.
He'll be a tiny bit ahead.
Actually, his wolf camps are now just going to be like, aren't they going to be stuck on the other respawn? Because now it's going to be one level behind the rest of his camps.
Yeah, it'll be overall. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a problem for anyone yet, but
You'd rather just have the camp.
you'd rather have the camp. It'll matter mostly when we get to the first objective spawning, because grubs, for example, are something that do affect your HP bar as a your XP bar as a jungler. So it matters in that moment of you could have gotten to 6 if you had just one more camp.
We saw the Mumu coming down trying to look for a gank just in case. Not going to be able to find much of anything just yet.
He'll stay. He doesn't have too much vision control, but he's also playing on the correct side of the lane here. He shouldn't be in too much trouble. He does get hit by that initial combo.
Q's going to be coming out. Nice flash. Going to be able to dodge that. Just get away from so much stun coming off the Mumu. Because remember, he's got 2 charges of that Q, not just one. He's going to be like a few seconds in between, so he can't just chain lock you back to back, but it's still going to be more than enough time to make it annoying for you to try and get out. Now just try.
He's going to try and get this through. The gold does go onto Syndra, so it's not going to be too much. I don't know how that stun did not hit there. To be perfectly honest, I really thought he was about to get caught a little bit there, but Amumu just walks out to safety. The mummy lives, well, unlives for another day.
Yeah, he doesn't get unwrapped today.
Matt did die in the top lane earlier during some more scrimmages going on. Early game set is just going to hit real hard, especially with that double auto from his passive. Matt knows this matchup. He knows that it's not even close to over yet. He doesn't have to panic.
We're going to be seeing. Actually, it's pretty even. SVSU is going to be just a tiny bit behind. Not by much, but once again, remember, if 1,000 gold's not a lead, 500 gold's most definitely not a lead.
Yeah, it's just that 300 that we're seeing here as it gets even a bit, and that's just from the first blood. The first blood will get the set just that tiny bit ahead, but top lane is the lane where you can be 0-5 and solo kill the 5-0. It really doesn't matter unless you get so far behind you're literally out of the game. And even then, you can still do some weird stuff.
At one point, they just come down from the island and we're just like, yeah, no, we're here, it's fine. Power scaling, never heard of it.
This is the matchup that I talked about a little bit in the pre-phase, in the draft phase. Syndra does get to have her way a little bit against this Talia.
We're going to see the Braum come up as the Mumu starts to come down. However, Volibear also coming down, going to be able to try and counter gank here a little bit in case New York stays for just a tad too long. The Talia and the Mumu going to be forced to start going back, but the huge ability coming out from the Volibear is going to be so much damage just straight under the tower. Is he going to have to flash out, but Cactus Cat going to be able to finish off that kill with the orbs?
They could have gotten a little more. They just barely didn't get the passive proc off for that Braum passive. He tried desperately to get in range, use the stun, but they couldn't quite get it, so they did have to invest a flash and some more damage and some decreased pressure in order to get the kill onto the Amumu.
We are going to be seeing the set start to walk down onto our Volibear and our Braum up in top lane. He's literally just walking at his Cactus Cat manages to find a second kill onto the Talia.
He's gonna have to try and get out here. Hit by the slow from the Volibear, and that's 3, now 4 members of SVSU. It's a strong W, it's a strong ult, but he should die here, and they should be able to collect the grubs. That should also now be, yes, the first stage of the feat of warfare going on to SVSU, as it did last time. So they know they can't be too excited yet, just because they've got that early lead. They had an early lead in last game, too.
Now, the one issue we're going to see here is SVSU already getting those first 3 grubs. Now, last game, we didn't really have anyone who's actually going to go and push on the side lane with the grubs. Same thing goes for New York, but now we've got the volley. If he's ever just like got nothing he needs to go and do during a team fight, or maybe there's not actually anything happening on the map, but he knows where people are.
Yeah, it's a little harder for volley as a jungler rather than the top lane. If he was a top lane volley, he could really split. He could really have his way. Jungler, he has to be around a bit more.
He's not going to be looking for it. But at any point,
he could just smack a tower. That could be a tower instantly gone, and then a Volibear running away immediately with his E and his Q and just being able to run away. He simply does not care.
And
Now, the level difference here. This is the advantage sometimes of the roams coming through.
actually, once again, sneaking through bot side jungle, yoinking some more camps from the Volibear as well. We're seeing
I don't know if he was seen. I don't know if he came in from the bot side or not, but
I
if
feel
he
like
was seen,
they don't really have too much vision going on around like the
Yeah.
entrances of the jungle, and I believe they just walk through top.
I think he did. Yeah, I think they just probed their way through, popped maybe a sweeper or something, and got him in there.
Hmm. And now maybe going to be looking for a Q onto the Syndra depending on where she's setting up. Actually, that
They
Q
look to
from
roam
Raptor
down
Pit-
here, yeah.
Okay, sorry. He was heading up. He was just looking for the plant.
Yeah, they've got the try control. That's something that Aiden has done pretty well in the past, is trying to just control just that try bush, let his support do the rest.
The
It
Volibear,
should be a Krug sneak here.
Volibear is, however, coming off of that recall. So if the Mumu tries to make something happen here, is going to get spotted. And now SVSU knows the jig is up. They know this mummy has been sitting behind them for the last solid while. Is going to be able to get out. Not in the best spot to actually go and contest punishment for that.
Yeah, Mumu's today feeling pretty good. They're feeling pretty good about being able to just walk in. It happened last game with Tito, and now it's happening again to Tito.
Mm-hmm. Look, that mummy just does so much early game. He doesn't really need all of his abilities to honestly do more than enough in a team fight. The two Qs are going to be so much just locked down. And then it's his W or his E, but he has something that reduces just MR and magic resist.
I believe
magic
it's
resist armor.
W. I think
Okay.
it's his W, his area of effect, his
crying.
tears, his crying tears.
Apparently armor is slightly less effective when it's salted.
It rusts.
Mhm.
I don't know how magic resist rusting works, though. Not quite sure on that one.
It's just like a pity thing. You know, they feel too bad.
They feel so bad.
There's a small crying child that's wrapped in bandages walking at me. I don't want to hit him with an orb.
I don't want to hit that guy. I don't want to cast a spell on that guy. We're getting a little more in the neutral zone for mid, but the Syndra shove, especially once she hits the 40 stacks, where she can use her 2 Qs, she can throw all of her abilities down. He has ult up. That is kill percent. And as I say that, we unfortunately missed it. Talia is at 1 HP. I said it and it came true. Maybe I should just say that SVSU win this game in the next 5 minutes, because
No.
of course I would never say that. Who would say that?
Anyways, going back into where I'm seeing the Mumu once again. You know, this is starting to feel like his bot side jungle. He has these rotations on luck. SVSU does not yet have the vision down to try and actually go and contest it. And now, noticing the Syndra is so far pushed up. Sorry. Going to be leaving the Raptors there to look for that Q. A beautiful flash coming out from Cactus Cat. The R is going to take a solid amount of the health, but however, Syndra getting out of there.
So,
no
unfortunately, Talia did misclick on her ult there. She meant to tap it twice, which would have allowed her to ride it forward and try to get the shove and the field combo off to maybe confirm a kill onto that Syndra, but they're not going to be able to get it.
Speaking of riding forward, this Volibear is coming in riding off the momentum of this fight happening on top lane and is going to be able to help clean up that kill on the set. He was taking advantage of the fact that he can sort of just bully tanks, but then the Volibear in the neighborhood decided to come and stop by, give him a hand.
That's a scary thing to see, a tiger running straight through your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you already have a Kazante and deal with a man who's basically just walking at you with a door frame in hand.
Yeah, Kazante did the Kazante special there of Wing to get them stunned, going around to the back and pulling them towards their tower, saying, "You want to run away? No. I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to let you go absolutely anywhere."
And now SVSU is going to be threatening to have 6 grubs here, already 5 on the board for them. Just the Talia to actually try and contest it. The Mumu was forced to back off because he did not have enough health. Blue team is going to secure all 6 grubs.
Vayne, I think, surprisingly enough, is able to just really feel comfortable down here. With her shorter range, you might have expected her to be a bit more weak when her support is out of lane, but the roll and the shove away E just lets her really not have to worry about fights. She just gets to sit back and farm, get the XP advantage from not having a second player in her lane.
And we are going to be hidden back to that sort of neutral point in the farm. The favorite
of every caster.
So much stuff happening.
There's so much excitement.
Okay.
He's clearing that ward.
But we are going to be looking a little bit at the builds the Mumu building. He's going for a little bit of damage, then balancing out in a tank as you do. Some boots coming out as well. It's going to be really interesting to see the route that the Vayne and the Kog'Maw end up going, because like they're the ones that are going to be scaling into the late
Vayne early looks to be going. I believe that was Blade of the Ruined King. Should be pretty great for the amount of health built on a lot of their characters.
Yeah, no longer going to have to actually worry about how much damage we're doing. We just need to proc those on-hit effects enough times. But actually, we see a bit of an engage going out here. Not even a bit. The Mumu R comes out, and it's going to be the bot lane getting caught out. Not expecting that many from SVSU. Down there, so much CC, so much damage. Not actually going to be a kill ending from it, but SVSU's health pools are looking... Actually, I can't really tell. It looks like the Mumu took the brunt of the damage for New York. Meanwhile, SVSU, it was more spread out.
Yeah, it's funny, the Lulu ult actually got used onto Lulu to save her. She got the Braum passive stacked on her, but the amount of space they gained from that is going to be what they're going to use to just quickly pop a dragon down.
Yep. So much damage from that team, going to be able to burn it down. Like, I think it was less than 10 seconds.
Oh, for sure. It was just a few seconds leading all the way into that much damage.
But now here comes the Cassante entirely uncontested on top lane as the set has to recall before he can even come back. Honestly, that might be like 2, if not maybe 3 plates.
He doesn't have, I don't know, I don't think he has Demolish. No, he doesn't. So it's not going to be too much. If Demolish could have gotten him a little bit more, but he should get, yeah, he'll get the 2 plates before the turret plating falls down. And I mean, that's a good 2/3 of that tower taken for that play. It's a dragon for two-thirds of a top tower.
As well as whatever damage the minions are going to end up doing to it. Now we see the bot lane. Kog'Maw is just going to be sort of bullying the alleyways a tiny bit. They've been playing further up than I expected. Meanwhile, Cassante is absolutely getting... No, never mind. It's just the top lane thing of it looks like they're actually going to be fighting, but then they just walk away.
It's a funny interaction. Set actually puts the player that he ults kind of behind him in a way, which really works for Cassante, who can then just ult and throw them towards their tower. It's, you think that you're going to get him and pile drive him to the ground, and then he immediately just throws himself right back away. He says, nope, I don't want to be here. I don't want to fight you. Or I do want to fight you, depending on how it
actually
works.
seeing the Mumu get a little bit caught out here because we are also going to have the Syndra from mid lane so close to the stun coming out, and now Matt coming down to make sure that that mummy is not making it out of this alive.
He got a little overzealous. He said, I've been able to take my opponent's bot jungle so freely. I'll take a dip into the top jungle, and there he gets punished for it, finally.
We are going to be seeing Cactus Cat making it back to wave perfectly on the tempo. No need to worry about actually losing any of that wave there. They're just going to hit the tower. They don't need to worry about the set as long as they can get that down, then they can go and fight him without having to worry about it. The set, realizing what's happening, immediately starts running away as fast as he can, running to his Talia for some help in mid lane. He's going to have his work cut out for him to try and get out of this as the volley and the Cassante just control so much space. Okay, he's fine. He's saved. They've accepted the fact that the minion wave says they're backing off now.
They tried to make a play. They tried to have their mid laners come up there. Talia, I did see, I think, land a combo onto the Syndra that prevented anyone from going anywhere, really. They said, we're just going to punch our damage at each other. You're going to hit me. I'm going to TP back in.
However, with first tower being dropped, that will be SVSU taking feats of strength yet again.
Their early games have been very impressive here. It's that mid game that they need to be careful of. They've got a bit of a better comp, though, this time. I think that should do a little better in the mid game. But still, they can't make any mistakes. They can't get caught out too hard.
And while we say that SVSU currently has the lead, New York has been putting their due diligence in to make sure that that lead is not by a whole lot. It's going to be super easy for them to actually come back in this game, like you just said. Honestly, still 2 dragons on the board. The next one finding out to be what the soul is, unless we already know what the soul is, and I just like missed it. Yeah, no, still not yet.
It will be Infernal. The pauldrons around the map that you can see on the corners do tell you what it will be.
Then never mind.
So that does mean we'll see some of the little sparks coming through, the little embers that should get a little more ability haste onto people. It'll be nice for people, especially for Syndra, wanting to get her ability haste up a little more. And there is another objective too. So even if that first tower had not gone down, the Herald would have secured the Feats of Strength either way.
And we're going to see maybe mid tower going down here as we have both the volley and the Syndra there, but we do see so many from New York surviving around this bot side. They really want to make sure they get this dragon down and try and secure soul as soon as they can.
Yeah, it should be a 1-for-1. They've said we have the Rift Herald that we just picked up. We see them forcing onto our bot lane trying to get that tower down. We're going to go in and just throw our Herald directly into mid tower.
Herald almost getting a second charge off. He's going to get taken out just before that. And
Talia,
now New York's just playing.
I don't know if Talia knows this tech. She can actually wall off the Herald. So they maybe could have actually saved that tower if Talia was in the area. But
yeah, but I think they just wanted to take the trade.
They just want to take that trade. They say, that's fine. We're going to force Vayne out of her situation, out of her little comfortable pocket at the bottom lane.
Yeah, their bot lane is far up and as much damage as they can. Now a second tower, I can't count, coming out from New York. Going to be putting both teams even.
Yeah, this is where we see the gold lead we were talking about before. There is none. It is a 500 difference 18 minutes in. Even though there's 4 kills of an advantage for SVSU, it's almost 0 lead off of that, only a couple hundred gold.
I'm pretty sure we've just been trading it back and forth. We are, however, going to be seeing the Mumu having so much more CS than the Volibear here. All those times he's been able to just walk into the bot side, it is going to be paying off and showing up in the amount that he's going to be able to add to his build. I believe he's a little bit further ahead. Actually, no, he's got 2 items. Meanwhile, Volley is still... Volley has 2 items, right?
No, Volley is pretty far ahead here.
Okay.
But I think Mumu's gonna, he's gonna take it
gonna
back
catch
here.
up.
The only reason Mumu's really far behind is because he's building multiple separate items at once, actually. He's saying, I'm so not in these fights that I'm not gonna hit any of my big power spikes yet.
We are seeing, speaking of fights, a huge engage coming out. Already 2 down from New York side. Matt managed to find a 3rd onto the Kog'Maw, as SVSU does probably secure this dragon here.
Yeah, they just threw a
just
bunch
sending
of
the
ults in all
vein.
at once. Lulu tried to ult onto, I believe it was Kog'Maw or Talia, I didn't see exactly. They tried to ult to try and save them, but all 3 ults from the Syndra, from the Vayne, and from the Braum all came out all at once, and that's just too much damage for an early game character with a low HP pool like Kog'Maw to survive.
And Ocean Drake being the 3rd dragon.
So yes, I did actually lie to you. It is in fact Ocean. I'm so sorry for that.
Because I was like, I missed wherever it did the whole map change.
I think it's a visual bug with Spectator because those pauldrons do normally indicate what it's going to be, and that is the infernal pauldrons.
No, I've given up on most of the visual cues from League. We are going to be seeing... Okay, no, Braum's absolutely fine. That stun coming out from Talia was a little bit concerning at first, but the Lulu not going to be able to get there in time to follow up. Same thing with the Mumu. Nothing else stand up. Catch him in place.
Last time Talia unfortunately did misclick and not this time she was able to this time get her proper ult off. I think they did just say we're not going to commit too hard to this because otherwise Talia might have looked to try and ride the wall, get over there, trying to hit some sort of combo onto someone.
They don't need to force an engage just yet.
No, they're just going to say we have some good push here. We don't worry too much about it.
Especially after just coming off that dragon fight. Don't want to give SVSU a second just full team fight win. They would have gotten so much map control and space. We are going to be seeing both teams. I think we're literally just playing for vision on top of Baron because ooh, they changed the spawns. It's not 20 minutes anymore.
No, it's 25 now. 20
That's
now is
right.
the Otacon. And it is a voracious Otacon, which is the one that gets so much attention from teams. Ruinous, you can afford to drop it. You can afford to not worry about it too much. It's not too big of a deal. But Voracious, that revive, even if it is a 15 seconds now, is such a big deal.
We're going to be seeing possibly... Well, these flashes from the Syndra every single time, saving it until they actually see the Q coming out from the Mumu is so nice, but it's not actually going to be enough to be able to get them out. So many stuns and so much CC coming up as the rest of New York collapses onto that.
Yeah, Brian caught
there.
a little fur out there. Could maybe have walked back a little earlier, but he didn't have too much vision control over there, so the Amumu just walks up, and even if you flash that first Q, he just walks right up to you and ults you. He doesn't need to Q onto you to do that.
Yeah, and honestly, with the amount of space that both teams have been taking during that fight beforehand, we are going to be seeing the set just try and pull the Volibear back into the team as the rest of the engagement from New York comes in. Volley does go down. Cassante is going to be in the thick of it. Not going to be able to get killed just yet. Set finishing it off just before, and now the Braum also getting stunned by the Mumu is going to get taken out as we do see the Vayne managing to make it out of there alive.
Yeah, there's a little bit of an overforce there. They're trying to look for something, but the Lulu Polymorph comes in on Cassante, so his last little big chunk of true damage that he wants to do onto the backline is not going to quite come through in time.
And that was honestly probably enough to save them because they were looking so low on health back there.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can see it here. Most of them are below or around half HP. If Vayne was allowed to walk forward, if she had that Braum able to just full walk in front, her Cassante in front, there's a real chance that she could have just immediately hit her 3 bolts onto one person and they are gone from that fight immediately.
So I literally don't know enough about League to actually know where the turning point from last game was. But it was around after they ended up getting like Voracious and then Baron. After they just literally said, we are going to push up mid. We don't care if we die. We still get Baron buff. And worst case, we don't get a tower. That's literally the worst case that comes out.
Yeah, that is how Voracious tends to go. It's why it gets so much prio, is that if you get Voracious, it's really hard to take another objective fight and lose, because you know that even if you do lose out on those kills,
you're just
going to walk from spawn. It's a 15-second timer now to get back in, but it's still so effective. You can have one person die, and then you just play slow for a little bit. You let them come back, especially if they're a mid or a top laner and they have a TP to use. They TP right back into the fight as soon as they can.
We're going to be seeing a few more of the builds start to come online here. That set is looking a good bit scary with that Stridebreaker and that Cleaver.
That cleaver is going to be monstrous to deal, especially with the Cassante, who has so much MR, or not MR, I should say armor stacked up
Might be
together.
seeing
Here.
someone getting caught out a little bit here. Okay, no, Volley's just getting out. He does not want to deal with that. Sees the rest of New York starting to come around the side. Doesn't want to take the chance that the engage happens early, especially with that set being able to yoink them so far back. Kog'Maw, I don't even. Oh, never mind. He's also in the mid.
Yeah, this feels a little bit like a repeat of last game in that mid-game phase. They take the Otacon, they take more prio, they take some vision control, and they just say, we're stronger than you right now. If you fight us, we're just going to go right back to our base. We're not going to worry about it too much. We know you can't fight on your terms. You have to fight on our terms now. I don't know. I want to see where Syndra's at. I'd like to see what her stacks are at here, because as Syndra goes through this game, she's just going to get stronger every time.
How's the vision score looking? Actually, the Lulu is going to be beating the vision battle.
Yeah, she has a little bit more leeway to run away. Braum needs to have someone with him to do the buddy jump, as they're called, uppies, as they are often called. But he needs someone with him to kind of babysit him and let him get a little bit more.
Actually, we are
of
going to
that.
be seeing some pings coming out from NYU. They might be looking to engage on the Braum and Vayne mid here because there's going to be 5 of them. Maybe after they get the dragon, because like
They
the
have the
set can just
Talia
rotate
ult.
back up.
They have that Talia ult. They can use it at any point to try and force an engagement, but it's about who can follow up after the Talia ult. Throwing your Talia into them is all well and good, but she's still an AP mage. She's still going to get bursted pretty quick if she doesn't have anyone else to help her.
Yep. And now we will be seeing, honestly, SVSU. I think we're just playing the farm game, trying to make sure we don't end up giving them too much off of the lead that they sort of have coming off of this. That we don't want to see it go any further. We're just trying to wait because we know they want Baron.
Yeah, we know they want Baron. We know they've just taken that Infernal Dragon. That's their third, so they're now on Soul Point. And that can get real concerning for a team that's trying to stay not fully behind.
The Mumu might either get caught out here or might manage to bait up some of SVSU. Never mind. We're
He's
respecting
so
the engage.
fast.
We don't want to take any of the chances. Not going to go and force something onto the mummy.
It's just an incredible speed from his little legs there to get him out.
Little legs, big feet. Big stompers.
Big stompers.
And... Okay.
I mean, at this
Take
point,
your bid.
it just has to be a fight win
Yeah.
for someone.
New York is probably looking for, like, actually sending a set back to recall probably has more than enough gold. He's going to get called out by the Braum because he's standing directly on top of a ward.
Yeah, that set wants to get back. He has the tunneler, so I think he really wants to get back and get his item, but he's forced to stay a little bit longer here.
Yep. Because New York's entire engage plan seems to be a Mumu stuns someone, set pulls them back to the team, Mumu stuns them again.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. We did say at the start there are multiple targets for set to target, for set to target. With that last engagement, that last big fight that went poorly for SVSU, it was the Volley Bear. They said Volley wants to get in and wreak havoc on our front line and use his sustain to stay in. What if we just throw him backwards? What if we take him out of the fight completely?
Not even going to be worrying about like who has the biggest health pool, just going to be taking advantage of the fact that this man has to dive in to actually do anything, really.
Yeah, they wanted the Cassante and the...
Kog'Maw,
Hello.
sort of baiting in. SVSU doing a good job of not fully engaging onto that, because that was a little bit scary.
Yeah, they threw in a Brommel, but Brommel's not the biggest deal to lose out on. You can wait for it to come back up. It's already almost a quarter of the way back up now. It's by far a short enough cooldown now that he can say, let's try this, and if it doesn't work out, not too big of a deal.
You'd rather take that cooldown wasted, or like not really wasted, cooldown put out there than you have just lost someone because they got absolutely decimated by CC. And now we're going to be seeing Cassante vibing around the top jungle as New York looks like they're starting to collapse on the Baron here.
I think they are going to start this Baron up here. They're going to burn it real quick, especially with Kog'Maw damage.
Set going to be able to get hysteric, so he now has his third item online as well. Is going
I
to be
think they're
really
just gonna have to
concerning for
give it.
SVSU. Yeah. Can't go and actually contest that. They just get absolutely singled out if they end up trying to. So much CC from New York if they ever try and go and contest something. So, Hysteric's just going to end up giving Set that extra burst of survivability, correct? This is assuming it
That
just
is
sort
a
of spins.
shield as he gets lower,
All right.
yes.
And actually, a bit of a stun going out from SVSU. So much damage is going to
Almost
happen
gets that
onto the Kog'Maw. But now the Braum getting caught out by the settle is going to go down first.
That's going to be really hard, especially for
And the Mumu
Vayne.
maybe coming over the wall with the Syndra sitting a bit too close. He's going to flash and then look for the R and the Q. Huge stuns coming out. Is going to just trade his life for the tower, taking so many shots there. Actually, he's absolutely fine. That mummy does not care. Too many bandages, too many layers.
Too many layers, like an onion.
Mm-hmm. And another stun coming out from it. NYU SVSU is just trying here so much.
They will get a
Huge.
pull in, see if they can take down Set. The Sterex popped. He will fall down, so that is a huge shutdown going for Cassante, but Cassante losing his own life in the process.
However, you have to stop and realize that with just 2 up here, we are probably going to be losing an inhibitor as they do still have that Baron buff coming down. But SVSU are respawning, coming back from the Falcon, getting some health back. This looks like that's probably going to be all they get off this push.
Yeah, Braum coming back up is the big one
actually,
there.
that Amumu going to have to start moving a little bit farther back.
He has no mana.
Just a tad too close. We might. What are the chances we chase this moment into this jungle? I think we want them. There's so
I
many
think they want
wards.
to delay. They want to say, we don't want to just let you immediately back off and group up because that dragon is going to be coming up fairly soon.
Yeah.
That is soul point for CCNY. It's going to be very bad if they can get that. What is it? Ocean Soul. That is what it is.
It's just like a bit of healing, correct?
Yeah, it's a lot of healing is the problem. It's healing when you get low. It's kind of like the Set and the Garen passive where it heals you based on missing health, but it scales off of everything. So it's not just on tanks; it's on everyone. Everyone can take a fight, get out with low HP, and start healing back up almost immediately.
Yeah.
It's
Just gonna let them team fight after team fight after team fight for whoever gets it. No worries about having to recall at all.
They can count their blessings at least that this is not a Cloud Soul, for example, like we were talking about last game, because a Cloud Soul, a Mumu, a Cloud Soul Set, that would be an especially scary thing.
Cloud Soul, honestly, it just feels really concerning unless your entire team is just range.
It's the highest priority Drake in pro play for a reason. It gets taken the most, it gets focused the most. People really want to see the Soul. It's such a big deal.
Honestly, one thing about NYU is they absolutely love just ripping objectives, literally just burning that down before the team fight even has a chance to start, using the fact that they know SVSU is going to get zoned out, not for very long, but they have so much damage coming out from their side that they don't care. It's more than enough.
Yeah, they know, unfortunately, they have too much of an advantage to really have too much worry here, and that is due to the fact that, unfortunately, all 3 of their top side, that being their top jungle and mid, are 2 levels ahead of their equivalent.
Now that Braum Shield doing so much damage, end up getting that Cassante out, and now SVSU is going to have to literally play the game of we are all hitting one person, otherwise no one's dying. Speaking of, that Cogmon goes down, looking for the Set next, SVSU Nums is going to be the next one to fall to Leah afterwards, followed by the Vayne. That Set is looking to maybe yoink Cassante back away, dodges the Syndra E.
They shouldn't be able to end here. Set might get a little overzealous. That's so much true damage through.
If that Q ended up coming off, that was actually going to be a super concerning stun coming out, because that was probably enough to finish off the Cassante, but the volley would have been back in time. Just going to be taking the second inner turret and then probably heading out. Is that inner turret, or is that outer base turret?
That is a an inhibitor turret, yeah.
Thank you, okay. The Cassante is finally back. SVSU no longer playing fully down people here. We still have the Set to worry about, so we can't just like start walking in, but the Amumu playing a bit far. Honestly, the only way I see this going wrong is like the R stun going into Set ult. There's so little health from SVSU. Set's going to be able to get so much back off that ability.
It's so much true damage through, just like onto the Cassante. Volibear.
His health pool was just gone, dissipated in a mere instant, followed by the Syndra getting slammed by the Cassantes. The rest of them go in from New York. This looks like this could be the writing on the wall, but the Set goes down.
Set down will mean that the game is not quite over. They have a slight chance. This Vayne is very scaled. They're just going to be smacking the towers. Vayne can't dash through that pool on that little rock field on the ground.
And now the minion wave is getting cleared from SVSU. It's going to be a question of can we make sure that they don't have enough bodies to yoink the turret shots? Because I think once that's down, it's going to be the same sort of thing as last time. Is they can just sort of ignore SVSU's
Vayne's going to have to
damage.
pop ult here, try to go for anything, but they should just be able to hit the Nexus here. Unfortunately, Vayne cannot do enough.
Yeah, Vayne is probably going to be the only way that they can actually get burst down. Make sure they take that out first. And then... Actually, I think we're just letting the... Nope, yeah, never mind. There it goes.
There we
So
go.
are
They're
gonna be
good.
Finishing
They're
off the
getting their
Nexus, and
kills
that
up.
will be Game 2 going to... Now I forgot the-
CCNY.
Yeah. Full name, city.
City College of New York Junior Varsity 1.
Thank you.
That's really just that Set wreaking havoc there. He sat under towers for multiple minutes there. Yeah, a good 2-3 minutes.
The same sort of vibes as well as last game. So we saw like the Zinzao was just waiting so patiently for all the engages that he needed to, even if it meant he was going to die for it. Set doing the same sort of thing. He did not go in until he knew this is the engage we're taking for the team, and he waited until someone's either out of position for SVSU or we had already engaged with all of our like dive, all of our stuns or CCs.
I
And they
think
were just
I think
playing reactively.
an underappreciated part of that game for CCNY as well was the Lulu. Her there with
So
her
many
14.0
polymorphs.
KDA. Polymorphs and especially the ults. There were at least two that I counted times where Kog'Maw gets caught out by like a Syndra shove, for example, and an ult. She just presses that ultimate, gets the massive buff onto him, prevents him from dying, gives him all the resistances, and Kog'Maw is then able to come back in and at least do something.
Some really nice, just making sure they can cover wherever their team ends up needing it as well. That Lulu was putting in so much work to make sure the backline did not get bullied
She's
that
so
game.
short, she can't often get seen, but she's there and she's doing so much value.
So that will end up being the series. New York is going to end up winning it 2-0 against SVSU. Red B team did not end up having a game this week. They had a bye. As far as the Overwatch games, we can update you with those scores on Monday when we are back with Valorant. But that is all we are going to have for you guys tonight on the stream. Thank you all for who ended up tuning in. And also, if anyone's watching down Student Life currently, as it's our family weekend, thanks for all of you guys coming out and bringing your kids and sibs to SVSU for this great event that's going on. But I've been Puff.
I've been Henby.
And we will be seeing you guys later. Have a good night. Oh, not stop streaming. Where's that?